Hi, I'm Ed. Palabas tayo. I started doing theater in our university. I directed a few shows there, and then on my second summer, I went to CCP to take up a directing workshop. My teacher then is Jose Estrella. So it was the last, I think, directing class that was held, and I was in that batch. And I think that opened my eyes to how a production is professionally mounted, and that's when I realized this is the type of career I want to do. Theater wasn't my first love. I thought I was gonna go into TV or film, but after that workshop, I realized theater is more of a career that I want to pursue. I think ever since I've had the leadership, the skills down pat. I think that's a given at the time. The creativity was something that you develop, also the taste level. So as I started working with different directors, you start to build on that. After a few years working as a professional in the theater industry, Ma'am Jose asked me if I wanted to start taking up MA classes at the University of the Philippines. I said yes, and actually that opened up a lot of opportunities for me. It actually launched my directing career. So after that, that's when I started getting more directing jobs at the VLF, and then professional as well. I've worked with different directors, Loy Arcenas, Chris Miliado, Herbie Go, Jose Estrella, and every time as a stage manager, not as an assistant director. And every time you see their process, you see how they think, why you read the script, and they have different interpretations from you, and you start learning from each and everyone and trying to get their best skills. So in a way, you're like a sponge trying to accumulate different knowledge. How I develop my aesthetics, constantly learning from your mistakes, trial and error, reading a lot, watching a lot, and really being open to different sources of inspiration. And then constantly being reminded that you really don't know everything. So that I think humility is a key so that you learn more every time. So even if people say that you've done well, it's not complacency kasi is the death of an artist, I think. So I don't know if I have a solid aesthetic. I think I would say work ethic. I have that. Never settling, being stubborn when you need to be, but at the same time collaborative, that you appreciate and really value the input of other artistic members of the staff. So I've been a stage manager for the longest time. I was the head stage manager of the Virgin Lab Fest for I think 3 consecutive years. My first professional directing job is under VLF as well. From there, I did a few more with Lab Fest. And then after that, I went to UP to do the Games People Play show, and it got picked up by different festivals. And then I started directing in Tanghalang Ateneo. My real foray into outside work was as a set designer. So I was hired as a set designer because of my show. So after that stage management period, I worked around the different companies here as a stage designer with Nineworks, Red Turnip. The main show that I think, if you say mainstream, I think Himala. I consider this my first. Even if you even consider this as mainstream, because the style is also different. It's really more experimental. Thank you, Missy, for the question. At the time, we were working on Stop Kiss, and before that, I was doing Himala, and I've been doing this project for it took up almost 2-3 years of my time. And going back to straight plays, it's because straight plays are more grounded. It's stripped off of most of the spectacles that you see in musical theater. Of course, there's value in that, but the devices used in musical theater is different because you have to cater to a big space. There's this grandeur that's usually attached to musical theater. I think the most obvious is that they don't burst into song, which is always still until now it's hard for me to I understand it, but personal aesthetics Yung I'm still trying to figure out if I am to do this, how do I get from point A to point B? So it's a personal thing. I mean, I've seen good musical shows. I just don't know how to do it. It was, of course, very flattering, but at the same time, you work around people like Jose and Rodi and Chris Miliado and Loy Arcenas, and it's hard to actually think of yourself as that the word that they used. The kid, of course, I can take the kid. I really am not good with compliments, to be honest, because even I am always skeptical of my own work. I always joke that I am the most overrated director of my generation. Of course, it's thankful that they think that way, but honestly, I don't feel that way. I really don't. I am my worst critic. Even the shows that were well received, I always have notes. And again, because I always work outside, not as a director, I think it helps me to be constantly grounded. Like for Himala, when we won several awards, when we went back to start rehearsing for the rerun, I have to remind everyone, including myself, that the awards are outside of our process. It's a big pat on the back. It's like a big congratulations after a good show. And it's not part of the process. It's not your work. It's a reaction to your work. And that's how I always see reviews and accolades and awards. It's a big thank you. And you acknowledge the fact that they think your work is good, but it's not the work. What's lined up for me, I'll be doing a straight play in, I think, June or July. It's a very experimental type of show for their company. And so I'm excited about that. I have a musical coming in around 2021, but we're working on it already. That one I'm excited because we came to the agreement of doing workshops. So we get to test the material before we rehearse for the full show, which is very rare here. It's a original jukebox musical.
Wow.
So it's completely the opposite of Himala, in a way, in terms of aesthetics. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited to face my own biases on the art form. I've paid my dues. I've worked from the bottom up. I've washed mugs for actors. I've done errands for designers, and I really worked hard on my foundation as a theater practitioner. So I think it's because I've tried my best to constantly deliver, even not as a director, even as any work that was given to me. I think that's the value of hard work that I learned from Herbigo, is that you just do the job well, regardless of what people are gonna say. You do it because you want to do it well.
This is David Ezra. Palabas tayo!
Hi, I'm Vic Robinson. Palabas tayo.
I'm Jeff Flores. Palabas tayo!
Hi, my name is Floyd Tena. Palabas tayo.
Okay. For more Palabas Tayo videos, subscribe now.